When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle fled the royal spotlight, there was one man who stepped in while the world turned its back. Not a royal, not a politician, but Tyler Perry. A Hollywood powerhouse with no obligation to help, yet he handed them the keys to his $18 million Los Angeles mansion. No press, no cameras, just peace. For a moment, it looked like they had found their safe haven. But safe havens come with secrets. Behind the gated estate, Perry wasn't just a generous friend. He was a strategic lifeline, providing more than just shelter. He gave them private security, a private jet, and, perhaps most importantly, Hollywood legitimacy. He wasn't just protecting their privacy. He was helping shape the foundation of their new narrative, one built on freedom, healing, and truth. Or so it seemed. Because now, that same man might be holding the one thing that could burn it all down. When Tyler Perry was hit with a $260 million lawsuit over workplace misconduct, the world waited to see who would stand by him. Meghan and Harry, once so quick to praise him, said nothing. No statement. No defense. Just digital silence. Mentions of Perry began disappearing from Meghan's social media. Photos were quietly taken down. It was as if he'd never been part of their story. But that silence may have come at a cost. Insiders claim there was a buried clause in their private agreement, an NDA with a twist. If Perry ever felt publicly cut off, he could speak freely. And if that clause was triggered, then the man who once protected them might now be preparing to expose everything. Not rumors. Not speculation. Real receipts, voice notes, emails, and strategy calls from their earliest days in California. If those recordings exist, they could reveal that the Sussex's story wasn't just heartfelt, it was rehearsed. And what happens next could be far worse than a PR setback. In the early days of their escape from royal life, Harry and Meghan painted a picture of struggle, independence, and survival. But now, that image is starting to crack. According to sources close to Perry, he wasn't just offering comfort, he was part of the plan. He reportedly sat in on media calls, reviewed early drafts of interviews, and even helped shape how their royal exit would be framed for maximum emotional impact. It wasn't spontaneous. It was strategy. Everything from the Netflix docuseries to their emotional interviews may have been mapped out, rehearsed, and refined behind closed doors. If Perry's files prove that, it changes everything. Their brand built on authenticity starts to look like something far more calculated. And the questions are multiplying. Was the Godfather title real? Or just another symbolic move for optics? There was no christening, no confirmation, just a passing line in a documentary. Now, even their child's role in the story is under scrutiny. But if that part was staged, what else was? Once the backbone of their post-royal support system, Tyler Perry has now become the wild card. The moment Meghan erased traces of him from her digital world, something shifted. Legal experts say that move may have triggered Perry's right to speak freely, and if the rumors are true, he's not empty-handed. He's sitting on private recordings, late-night calls, raw voice notes from emotional breakdowns to media strategy sessions. Not the kind of leaks that make tabloid noise. The kind that make headlines history. And Perry? He's not some nameless source hiding behind anonymous quotes. He's a respected industry figure with everything to lose, and even more to reveal. Media outlets are already circling, offering him exclusives, book deals, even documentaries. And the Sussex brand? It's suddenly hanging by a thread. What was once seen as a brave new chapter is now being re-examined as a potential rebranding campaign, crafted for profit, not just healing. And the deeper you look, the murkier it gets. Because Harry's sudden solo trip to the UK? That wasn't just personal. It was strategic. Harry's sudden, unannounced trip back to the UK raised eyebrows everywhere. No press, no family photos, just a quiet departure. Some say he was meeting with royal advisors. Others believe legal teams were involved. But one thing is clear, the timing wasn't accidental. With their brand facing its biggest credibility crisis yet, Harry didn't vanish for peace. He vanished for damage control. Meanwhile, Meghan stayed behind, carefully curating her image online. Perfectly lit photos, polished blog-style posts, cozy scenes of motherhood, all designed to redirect attention. But the internet wasn't buying it. Every new post sparked more questions. Every polished picture felt more staged. Even loyal supporters began to hesitate. Because if Perry does come forward and confirms the behind-the-scenes manipulation, if he says the Godfather role was nothing more than PR, it won't just damage the Sussex's brand. It will dismantle the foundation it was built on. And in Hollywood, trust isn't just valuable, it's everything. Behind the headlines, there's a storm brewing that goes far beyond public opinion. Legal insiders are already warning. If Tyler Perry's recordings contradict the Sussex's public claims, especially anything shown in the Netflix series, it could trigger a legal avalanche. Breach of contract, defamation, even fraud are on the table. And this isn't just about reputation anymore. It's about money. Millions. Streaming giants like Netflix and Spotify didn't sign up for curated fiction. They banked on authenticity. If Perry's evidence shows storylines were manipulated, it could violate content agreements and lead to pulled episodes, canceled deals, or worse, lawsuits demanding refunds on already paid contracts. But the biggest loss wouldn't be financial. It would be personal. Because Harry and Meghan built their image around vulnerability, truth, and survival. They weren't just telling their story, they were representing others who felt voiceless. If that narrative is exposed as carefully packaged marketing, it won't just look dishonest. It'll feel like betrayal. And in the court of public opinion, betrayal has no appeal process. For millions, Harry and Meghan's story wasn't just entertainment, it was hope. A symbol of standing up to tradition, of healing from trauma, of breaking generational cycles. Their interviews sparked global conversations about mental health, racism, and institutional power. People connected. People cried with them. But now, those same people feel misled. If Perry's receipts prove this wasn't raw truth, but a calculated rebrand, then it cuts deeper than a scandal. It turns empathy into skepticism. It makes real survivors question if they were emotionally manipulated for clicks and contracts. Supporters who once defended every move are starting to back away. The hashtags have changed. The tone has shifted. What was once a powerful message now risks becoming a cautionary tale. Because this isn't just about public image, it's about trust. And once that's broken, no apology can glue it back together. And Perry? He doesn't need to twist the truth to cause damage. All he has to do is release it. While Harry and Meghan scramble to patch the holes, Tyler Perry stands silent, but not idle. Insiders say he's reviewing everything: voice notes, emails, private recordings. Not to gossip, to decide. Does he speak? Does he stay quiet? Or does he light the match? He's not some disgruntled ex-friend looking for attention. He's an industry titan. If he talks, people will listen. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's credible. 3 major media outlets are reportedly in negotiations for exclusive rights, not for fluff, but for the hard truth. And the longer Perry stays quiet, the louder the speculation grows. He was there for the strategy sessions, the breakdowns, the brand building. He knows what was real and what was rehearsed. He doesn't have to destroy them. All he has to do is confirm what others have only guessed. And if that happens, Meghan and Harry won't be able to spin the story this time. Because this time, they don't control the script. Social media has become a battlefield, and Harry and Meghan are losing ground fast. Hashtags like #TylerKnowsAll and #LilibetTruth are exploding across platforms. People are dissecting interviews, cross-referencing timelines, and digging into everything from birth records to Netflix edits. What once felt like a powerful story of survival is now being questioned like a true crime mystery. Supporters are turning skeptical. Former fans are posting side-by-side clips and transcripts, pointing out inconsistencies. And the outrage isn't just about deception, it's about betrayal. If the Godfather role was fake, if the trauma was exaggerated, if the emotional interviews were rehearsed, what else was curated? It's not that people mind a polished public image. What's upsetting is the idea that authenticity was just another brand filter. Meghan's team is reportedly in damage control mode, offering off-the-record chats to soften coverage and regain control of the narrative. But the public sentiment is shifting faster than a press release can fix. Because the moment trust is broken, Every filtered photo starts to look like a performance. And this time, the audience isn't clapping. Harry and Meghan built an empire on their story, a narrative of pain, escape, and rebirth. They turned private struggles into global conversations and crafted a brand rooted in truth, vulnerability, and defiance. But now, all of that hangs by a single thread: credibility. And Tyler Perry may be holding the scissors. He's no tabloid source. He's a respected filmmaker, a media mogul, and someone who was once deep inside their inner circle. If he steps forward with proof that their story was shaped, scripted, and monetized, it won't just damage their image. It will redefine it. This isn't just a PR crisis. It's a reckoning. One where image meets reality, and only one survives. Because in the end, it won't be the palace, the press, or the public that brings the truth to light. It'll be the man they trusted most. And as Perry sifts through voice notes and email threads, one truth becomes crystal clear. Receipts don't lie. And once they're out, there's no going back. What do you think Tyler Perry is really holding on to, and should he speak out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this just a media storm, or the beginning of something much bigger?